Thank you. Can everybody please be seated? I just want to give one more round for the band. Yes. They're all students from our own College of Performing Arts. 2 are from the Mannes College School of Music. 2 are from the New School for Jazz and Contemporary Music. They are on trumpet, Rafael Castillo Halverson. On clarinet, Louis Arquez. Nicholas Greenberg on banjo. On trombone, William Duffy. Drums, Connor Parks. And the leader of this band is Kaylin Leung on bass trombone. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Mary Watson, the Executive Dean of the School for Public Engagement.
Wow, that's what they call a hard act to follow, so congratulations on the music. So first, let me start by welcoming all of us again to give a round of applause to the Bachelor's Program graduating class of 2017. Congratulations. So I want to start my brief remarks this evening by thanking all of the parents, partners, friends, and family members we have in this room. There are various terms of endearment being called out from the front, so that's excellent. These graduates tonight could not have accomplished what they've done in this degree program and more generally in all the activities they've done without your love and support. And so let's take a moment to thank all of you. And finally, on the order of thanks, I'd like to thank our exemplary faculty and staff with whom the graduates have worked and learned. They are each deeply and individually committed to our students' success. I thank them all for all their efforts. I'd like to mention 2 faculty in particular who have been selected this year for University Teaching Awards, who teach in our undergraduate space. And those include Tymon McPherson, Associate Professor of Urban Ecology, who's receiving the Distinguished University Teaching Award on Friday, and Jaz Dillon, Assistant Professor of Global Studies and Anthropology, who will be receiving the Award for Diversity and Social Justice Teaching. Congratulations to those two faculty, but to all of our faculty. And finally, you'll hear more in a moment from Dean Melissa Friedling, who I'd also like to thank. This is the end of the first year of Melissa's deanship, and I want to say it has been spectacular working with her on all the initiatives that we've undertaken together and the things we're going to do looking ahead. So congratulations and thanks, Melissa. All right, so tonight we're here to celebrate all the fantastic achievements of completing this a bachelor's program degree. And for many of you, this journey began many years ago, even many colleges ago in some cases. Students like you have come to our bachelor's program from around the country and indeed from around the world to finish education that they have started. This means that for some, their course of study was interrupted by career opportunities, family commitments, or a whole other host of obligations and challenges. It takes great dedication to come back to school and to return as an adult, whatever adult means, and an even greater determination to stay on course and then to get to the finish line. So we congratulate all of you tonight. Last year on this stage, one of our alumni who was graduating that night was Bill Ritter. Those of you who know Bill is the ABC 7, Channel 7 New York news anchor. And Bill had an example of a story that's quite similar to those of you in the room. Bill was, euphemistically speaking, asked to leave his previous college decades ago because of anti-war protests. And he came to this adult bachelor's program to finish his studies and earn his degree after 44 years of leaving his college the first time. He's now a very active part of our alumni community, and he's helping us to tell his story to other students. And so we welcome you all into this alumni community and encourage you to participate in the way Bill has done since this time last year. It's a very exciting time to be graduating from the New School. We have amazing speakers on campus. We've had them this year, and we've had them frankly, for a number of years since 1919 when we were founded. So among the folks we've hosted this year include the Reverend Al Sharpton, environmentalist Bill McKibben, actor and advocate Ben Stiller, Second Lady Jill Biden, authors Zadie Smith and Margaret Atwood, and civil rights icon and U.S. Representative John Lewis. I want to say a couple of words about John Lewis as I'm sort of framing my comments. John was here in November to receive what then became the National Book Award for his graphic novel, The March, Volume 3. As many of you may know, John has a long and illustrious history of being active in social justice work, and I spoke with him on that evening of the reception of the National Book Awards medal ceremony, which we host here at the New School. And I asked him, John, you know, you've been on the Freedom March to Selma, to Montgomery, you're in the House of Representatives. This is the worst time we've seen in America, and what are we going to do? And he looked at me a bit wryly and said, it's always been bad, you know? We've always faced deep challenges. This is not a new time, this is just another time. And he said to me, you know, the only thing you can do is actually keep organizing, keep working, keep doing your work, and keep persisting, because this is not going to end in my lifetime, he said, or in your lifetime, he said to me, or in our children's lifetime. It's a degree of progress over the arc of history. So keep motivated and keep working. And I think that we see a lot of bachelor's program students who understand that they're going to make a commitment to the long arc of society, like so many of the graduates of this program have over history. I also want to mention one of the long-term faculty in this program, Eustace Rosenberg, who taught in the program for nearly 50 years. I had the privilege in March to attend a ceremony at the French consulate where Eustace was granted by the French government, the French government for his sacrifice during World War II, the Medal of Freedom that is typically not honored to anyone who's outside of a French citizenship. So Eustace, who taught here for 50 years and who had helped folks escape Nazi Germany during the rising fascism, said that it was his love for education and indeed his love for language that helped him survive during those times. So both of these stories about the New School and folks at the New School tell us that this is a long arc and that we're all on the progress of it. So let me just give you a few moments of New School history. It's a history lesson, 100 years. I've had students at graduation come up afterward with their parents and say, wow, I didn't know anything about that, about the New School. This is news to me as I'm graduating. So you may know that nearly 100 years ago, the New School was founded in 1919 with the idea of access to open education, to create curricular pathways across the humanities, fine arts, and social sciences, and to explore the freedom to learn what is most in your heart, mind, and dreams of the students who entered here and those who have followed. About 70 years ago, in 1943, what we now call the Bachelor's Program for Adults and Transfer Students was created for veterans and other adult learners who were searching for a flexible program that would meet them where they were in their lives. So in this sense, the university has evolved over time, adding the Parsons School of Design and the Mannes College of Music to our portfolio, but nevertheless, we still hold clear to our roots of liberal education and the value of education along the lifespan. And you might say that the bachelor's program is actually the one program that remains the most true to this original vision, which was established by the founders of this university in 1919, who included John Dewey, who set out to make an active statement about what it meant to have experience in education. So since then, we've offered first courses in cinema as an art form and creative writing through the First Writers Workshop, in women's history and African American culture, photography, and jazz, and we continue to offer path-breaking courses today. We've also had iconoclastic faculty and public intellectuals and other luminaries of the day on campus, including W.E.B. Du Bois, Margaret Mead, Eric Fromm, Martha Graham, Frank Lloyd Wright, James Baldwin, Grace Paley, and Martin Luther King Jr., who I should note tonight as you're getting ready to cross this stage, actually spoke on this very stage in this very auditorium that you will cross tonight. So as you're graduating out into 2017, think about the legacy of folks from 1919 who stand behind you and who you are carrying forward with you. So last, I just want to say there are many universities, and it's a complex and changing time out there. And you might ask yourself, What's your advantage? What's your special talent? What thing do you bring into this rapidly changing, complex world with all these challenges and issues of social justice? And I would argue that your advantage is that you have graduated from the new school. You joined a community that was different. You joined a university that was founded on principles and the idea of change. You have been part of a learning community that takes a critical stance on issues. You weren't devoted to the old passive model of higher education. You were doing what you were going to be doing before you even got here. You didn't wait till the curriculum was over to launch a project. You were well on your way by the time you arrived. And you met us here with your whole self, bringing your ideas, your media making, your books and articles, your creative websites, your campaign activities, your curriculum design, your small businesses, to actually make those happen while you were a student. So you challenged paradigms at the new school, you challenged us, and we challenged you. And so many commencement speakers that you'll hear on websites around the world beginning, I guess, at the beginning of this month, will say, you're ready for the challenges ahead. And what I'd like to say is, it's not that you're ready, you've been ready for a long time. And now you have your degree from the new school, and you are going to take that out into the world in a brilliant way, the path that you're already on. Congratulations. And now I'd like to introduce Dean Melissa Friedling.
Thank you. Thank you, Dean Watson, and thank you, esteemed members of the faculty. And thank you to all of us joining on live stream. You're here. And all here gathered today, proud parents, grandparents, loving and supportive partners, spouses, children, grandchildren, siblings, and devoted friends. Congratulations to all of you, and especially to the magnificent bachelor's program graduating class of 2017. That's you. It is an honor and a privilege to celebrate your amazing achievements with you this evening. And I just want to say that this ceremony, this recognition ceremony, like many recognition ceremonies happening around this campus, around the city, and around this country tonight, is a time to rejoice, to give thanks, to reflect, to collectively sigh and say, phew, we did it, to say, what do we do now? And we'll do all that tonight, but I want to point out that this recognition ceremony is also not like other recognition ceremonies. This is something special because you, as Dean Watson has said before, you adult bachelor students, you're something special. You came here from other places, other schools, you took different paths, you started at a school, you stopped, you worked, you lived, you served your country, you volunteered, you took to the streets, you almost finished, you failed, you persevered, you won some, you lost some. You learned a lot, and all this even before you sat down in your first class at the new school. You brought your experiences and you made your choices, often in the face of overwhelming challenges. We know that. And you did that and you completed your bachelor's degree, or you're going to complete your bachelor's degree very soon. And that is something that's different. That is why this is a special occasion tonight. So I want to try something, sort of a demonstration. I'd like all the students, just the students, to close your eyes for a minute, a few seconds actually, and think of one word to describe your experience here at the new school. Just think about it for a second. Okay. I'm going to count to 3, and on 3, I want everybody to open their eyes and shout your word. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right. That amazing mix of voices, that blend of experience, that noise, this is your glorious song. And shortly, you're going to be able to hear some of the individual voices of experience that make up that sound, that song, from 4 of our student speakers who are right behind me today, John Valdez-Klinger, Rafael Ortiz, Haley Alexander Poole, and Margaret Collins-Rogow. And through their stories, I think we'll all come to appreciate why that noise is such music to my ears. Before we do that, I want to pause to remember 2 students, members of the BPATS community who we lost, who passed away earlier this fall. Carolyn Bush and Michelle Louis. Carolyn Bush joined our program in the spring of 2015. She was pursuing a BA in liberal arts and co-founded and served on the managing board of Wendy's Subway Reading Room and Writers Collective, which is a nonprofit collaborative library and writing space in Bushwick, Brooklyn. Michelle Louis joined the bachelor's program in the spring of 2010 and was also pursuing a BA with a focus on writing, literature, and cultural studies. Among her many accomplishments, she was a published author and contributor to Savoring Gotham, a volume of essays on New York cuisine edited by our own food studies faculty, Andy Smith. I know you join us in wishing Carolyn and Michelle's loved ones our continued condolences. It is their stories and the stories you'll hear tonight on this stage from your classmates and the sounds you all just shared of your collective experiences that bring us here for celebration. And now, it's my privilege to introduce our first student speaker, Haley Alexander Poole. Just a second. Haley Poole comes from Seattle, Washington, and graduated with honors from Kentridge High School. At the new school, Haley's earning a Bachelor's of Arts in Media Studies and with a concentration in screenwriting, and she was one of the very first ones to declare Media Studies when we launched it. Relocating throughout her life, her academic career brought her to 8 different states before she settled in New York. Prior to transferring to the new school in January 2015, Haley completed the Disney College program in Orlando, Florida. And during her time here, Haley has explored the media industry with diverse internships, experiences, including one at the Nantucket Film Festival and another for the New York Rangers. Haley plans to spend this summer screening films for a documentary film festival here in New York and continuing to seek out new experiences in this next phase of her life. Ladies and gentlemen, Haley Poole.
Class of 2017. What a time! From all walks of life, here we are together in this room. Being here today marks a huge transition in each of our lives to be embraced with open arms. When I was growing up, I was always the new girl. Every other year meant a new address consistent to this day: Springfield, Missouri to Watertown, New York, Orlando, Florida to Seattle, Washington. My family was somewhat of a nomadic bunch, you could say, but it's fine. For a long time, I was convinced that I peaked senior year of high school. I was a new kid as a freshman, but by senior year, I was active in theater, dance, choir, band, salsa club, debate. I was prom queen. I was ready to take that hyperactivity to college with me, but little did I know. My freshman year of college was eventful. I had been accepted to a big-name school that I couldn't afford, and it was perfect. I moved to New York, left my family and friends on the other side of the country, and was ready to take on the world with my bare hands. I remember that year, while I was busy with my bare-handed conquering, that I would lie in bed and I could literally see the dollar signs increasing exponentially for every millisecond that I was enrolled at this school, a school I wasn't in love with. I wished so badly to feel that my heart was in the right program, but something wasn't there. I am lucky to have been blessed with the support of family. When I told my parents how I was struggling, they urged me to find what was missing, what was keeping me from being in love with my education, whether it be financial, circumstantial, personal. My response came down to a fight or flight instinct, and I chose flight. I took a chance and moved to Disney World to sort out my problems like a real adult. The Disney College program wasn't part of my plan, but once I was accepted, it became my stellar plan B. I spent 8 months down in Florida telling people to have a magical day, what time the fireworks start, and that Harry Potter World is not affiliated with the Disney parks. I spent 8 months at Disney finding my joy, discovering my passions, and remembering how to breathe. When I finished the program, the new school came into the picture. The school actually contacted me in an email saying, "Hey, if you complete your application now, you can come here in the spring semester." Mind you, the spring semester started the following week. Either way, this school looked at my experience and considered me a great match for the bachelor's program. I remember looking at the program online, and the more I read, the brighter my future glimmered in the distance. I'd finally found where I was meant to be, or rather, it found me. I transferred at the beginning of my sophomore year. As a transfer student, even though I once again felt like the new kid, this time it was different. This time the new kid belonged. Even the major I applied to was new that semester. In the whirlwind of applying, getting accepted, coming back to New York, everything seemed to fall into place. I came to a new understanding of serendipity. Education has always been important in my family. We used to have what my parents called pool school. My brother and I were quizzed on geometry when we were still in diapers. There are videos. I'd always thought that education was like a recipe. There are ingredients, and you just have to put in this and this, stir it up, learn something new, and flip a tassel. I used to think that straying from the conveyor belt was wrong. What the new school did for me was it nurtured a new passion, a drive for amalgamated knowledge for experience. And while it may have its moments of uncertainty, finding my own path has been the most enlightening and educational process I've ever experienced. My success doesn't look like my brother's, who may or may not have an engineering degree from Stanford. It doesn't look like my parents', and it isn't supposed to. The new school taught me to embrace what is mine, truly mine, and to be proud to be new. I'm a firm believer in things happening for a reason. We're here in New York at the new school for a reason. My entire personal outlook on life has developed directly because of my time here. I shut out pessimism. I trust myself and I trust my future, even if I don't know what it looks like. It's freeing. I encourage all of you to remain open to every opportunity that comes your way. Change is fruitful. Even in disguise, when one door opens, chances are you've already got the keys to open another. My degree is in media studies, concentrating in screenwriting, which is elaborate. Skills I've picked up on the way to this day have shown me experiences I would never have dreamed of. Take what you've learned and bring it to that film festival or that executive department or the National Hockey League. I did, and it only took 2 high-speed pucks to the head to realize that opportunity is everywhere, waiting with new memories and/or concussions to stay with you forever. True story. I have had a perfectly unpredictable educational journey, and the new school has provided exactly the kind of progressive haven I've been craving in my life. Graduates, accepting the new is a good thing. Life is about embracing your plan Bs, excavating your path, and being excited to see what's new up ahead. I can't wait to see what's next for me and the class of 2017. Each and every one of us has something to offer, so as we embark into the real world, I encourage you, get out there and show them something new. Thank you.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Laura Cronk, Assistant Professor of Creative Writing and Chair of the Creative Writing Program, and who will recognize the Reggio Scholars.
George Orwell's essay, Politics and the English Language, is a touchstone for our program. Orwell's call in 1945 for thoughtful and precise language seems to become more relevant by the minute. And though he decried the political writing of his time for its euphemism, question-begging, and sheer cloudy vagueness, we are entering a moment. These graduates tonight are entering a moment when writers are leading the resistance against unimaginative, biased, and simplistic thinking. The honors students we're celebrating tonight are phenomenally talented. Our community gathered to listen to these graduating students read from their thesis projects on May 5th. Everyone who heard their work could see how much the world needs these voices right now. It has been a pleasure to accompany them in some way in their work here at the New School. Today we recognize these graduates as they leave the New School, writers in the world. This is an extremely special group, a group that I'll miss very, very much, but we welcome them as colleagues and eagerly watch to see all the ways their work will impact our own. Please join me in congratulating this year's honorees. We'll remain on stage for a picture. Ralph Ortiz. John Valdez Klinger. Diana Angelo. Juliana Broad. Jacqueline Gallo. Sean King. Ernesto Moreno. Brandon Janice. Bukola Shananga Smith. And Jessica Sennett.
Okay. Congratulations. All right. Thank you, Reggio. A round of applause for the Reggio Scholars. And now, congratulations. And now it is my privilege to introduce our next student speaker, Rafael Ortiz. Did you get back on stage? Wait. I have to talk about you. Rafael Ortiz is a native New Yorker. At age of 21, Ralph earned his GED. He then attended Borough of Manhattan Community College, CUNY, and NYU. Personal problems, however, forced him to put his education on hold, and he had to drop out of school. He found himself homeless and unemployed for a time. But a couple of years later, Ralph met his future wife at the world-famous Copacabana Club, and they married 7 months later. They have 2 beautiful daughters, ages 15 and 22. Ralph joined the bachelor's program for adults and transfer students in fall 2007, and while here, he participated in the Reggio Honors Program for Writing and Democracy and the Cohort 21 Fellowship Program, which you'll learn more about. His writing was published in 12th Street, the online journal of the Reggio program, and also in AM New York Newsday. A former Rikers Island corrections officer, Ralph completed his coursework and graduated from the New School this past January. And he is currently working as a teacher and further developing a teaching program that he researched and designed while a student here in Cohort 21. Ralph's topic tonight is Paying It Forward. Ladies and gentlemen, Rafael Ortiz.
I am so nervous, so just bear with me. All right, so you're all naked to me right now, so. Except my daughters, of course, but you know. All right. Good evening. I'd like to begin by thanking the New School for selecting me to speak tonight. I am humbled to have been given such an honor, and in following with the amount of gratitude I have to be sharing in this, such a momentous occasion, with my fellow graduating students, their loved ones, and New School faculty, I would like to offer you a personal anecdote of how being enrolled as a student here has been part of my long and rewarding life change. My story does not begin at birth, but rather when I was 16 years old. Growing up in New York City taught me a lot, how to fight, be tough, and adapt to changes. My mother placed me in a home for boys at that age. Well, my street knowledge will be put to the test. Fist fights were the norm for me. Almost daily, some guy would want to fight me for another reason than to see whether I was tough or not. A guy even tried to rape me there. He didn't succeed, but did manage to stab me in the leg during our struggle. I was there for 3 months before I escaped and made my way back to the Bronx. I dropped out of high school and wasted time. I'll get there. While my friends moved on and earned their college degrees, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, nor did I have a plan. Finally, at the age of 21, I decided to get my act together and get my GED. All my friends were moving on with their lives, and I was stuck with no clear future. My other friends either joined the military or went away to college. I was the only one in my group still without some form of degree. I didn't want to feel like a loser anymore. I didn't score well on the placement exam, and the only school that accepted me was BMCC, Borough Manhattan Community College. Since I had low exam scores, I needed to take remedial courses in math, English, and writing. It was embarrassing. I was in remedial courses for about a year without earning any credits. I didn't know what I wanted to major in, and in my mind, I was never going to graduate. I felt judged, and in one occasion, even belittled by one of the staff members. I remember her saying to me that it was sad that a guy my age was so far behind in reading and math. Yeah, she was a bitch. Look at me now, though, right? Anyway, so. Hold on. I lost my place. Okay. I should have numbered these pages. I so apologize for this. So, anyway. Television stations, radio stations, Blockbuster Video, you name it, I probably worked in there. It was a great, basically I moved to Florida for a while because I needed to get away. It was a great experience due to the fact that it allowed me the opportunity to grow as a person. After a couple of years away from the Big Apple, I felt confident enough that I could make it back to New York City. That first year back, though, was rough. I couldn't find work, and the fact that I didn't have a college degree was beginning to bother me again. I managed to get myself on my feet one more and began to work for many years, for many New York City agencies. I even got married. It wasn't until 2007 that my wife heard from a commercial on the radio promoting the new school and how working adults could earn their degree. My college career at the new school began in the fall of 2007 and concluded in the fall of 2016, when I finally finished what took me 25 years to achieve. Yeah. I could not think of a better place to have earned my bachelor's degree than the new school. When I came here, I didn't know much about. Breathe. When I came here, I didn't know how much I needed to basically tell the stories of my life. I didn't know the hardships I endured would actually make up the material of my new life, my life as a writer. Working closely with my professors, I learned how to become a better writer, listener, and even educator. When I first came to the new school, I didn't think of becoming a writer. It happened by taking the many great writing courses the school offered and because of the great professors teaching here. Faculty members like Nahi Racklin, Susan Shapiro, and Joseph Salvatore gave me the confidence as an older student who had not been in the classroom setting in a while. They gave me the courage to write. I learned from them that it did not matter how old I was or what I wanted to write about, as long as I was willing to put in the time and the effort to write. It was the newly found confidence that allowed me to write and submit my work to the 12th Street Journal. When my writing was published for the very first time, that was a great feeling. I also read at the journal's launch at the Union Square Barnes & Noble. There was so much I've done throughout my academic time here, that I can never imagine any other place. The new school gave me the freedom and flexibility to choose my classes and work at my pace. I finished as a member of the Cohort 21, a self-directed learning program which allows students to design their own projects and work on the projects in the outside world. This program gave me both the challenge and encouragement I needed to finish my degree. The new school is about helping others. It is about acceptance and tolerance. Acceptance and tolerance, people. All right? And so, with the help of the faculty staff, I was able to design and implement a program geared towards helping young adults and not so young adults as well become better writers. I have been lost when it came to writing. However, it is because of the new school that I fell in love with writing, and I shall pay that forward by going to forgotten neighborhoods and getting to work. Ghettos, Brooklyn, the Bronx, I'm there. I plan on continuing teaching to anyone who wishes to learn the art of writing and discover themselves as a creative in the ways that I have been fortunate enough to. The same way the new school took a chance on me, I'll take a chance on other people who might not know yet that they have stories that need to be told. As a former high school dropout and homeless man, what the new school has meant and will continue to mean to me is that we can't make it on our own. We need a loving and caring environment where we can learn and spread our wings to go as far as we desire. My professors never allowed me to see myself as a high school dropout, nor feel sorry for myself. They told me that here and now is what's important. We can take mistakes we made and change them for the better. My college career began in 1992 at BMCC. That school for me lacked the personal touch that I found here at the new school. See, my story couldn't happen anywhere else. It had to happen here. Okay? It began many years ago, but it finally, when I became a college student when I got here in the fall of 2007, and that made all the difference for me. While I was homeless, I used to walk right outside these doors. I kid you not. There was a garbage can in the corner I used to eat from, and I used to walk right by this school, not knowing much about this school at the time. I didn't understand the concept of the new school, let alone what it was. But now, not only am I graduating from this college, but I'm giving a speech in its very halls. I'm happy that I finally found an academic home for myself. I'm grateful for the school, for the new school. The new school took a chance on me and allowed me to grow as a student and, most important, as a writer. I'm equally grateful for the other members of faculty who invested the time and wisdom on me and never let me give up. Tracy Ann Williams, what's she at? Michelle. And last but not least, Laura Cronk. I have bothered these women for so many years. They must have been so annoyed with me. But I love you guys dearly with all my heart. Thank you so much. These people made it possible for me to hold on to my dreams and help me graduate. I'm looking forward to what the future has stored for me and my oldest daughter, who is also graduating this Sunday. Mimi, I love you with all my heart. Party at my house. No, okay. It's also now without the love and support and patience of, my oldest daughter, Mimi, my youngest daughter, Rhiannon, and my wonderful wife, Wandy. I love you with all my heart. That I'm able to, to be here with you almost 3 decades after I started my path towards higher education. I hope that my story of an unconventional real-life path to a college degree speaks to the non-conventional real-world influence that the new school has to offer. It created a positive experience for me, and I love this place. And in continuing higher education, to have a society, continuing higher education, and to have a society that needs openness, community, and creativity now more than ever. And I understand that the Cohort 21 program might be defunct, and I hope that the people who are running that program, please change your minds, because I am a product of how that program helped me graduate way before. I mean, I would have been here like 30 years had it not been for that program. So I hope that the powers that be change their minds. Almost done. There isn't any excuse big enough as to why we can't make the world, our world, a better world, just by wanting to be a better us. Thanks to the new school and my own desire not to settle with situations that are less than ideal, less than fair, less than just, I get the chance to live out this new life as a writer, an educator, and finally, a college graduate. Thank you very much.
It is my pleasure to introduce Associate Professor of Media Studies, Michelle Mater, who is the Director of the Bachelor's Program for Adults and Transfer Students and the Director of Academic Portfolios for Cohort 21.
So great to see everyone, and I knew Ralph was going to make me cry. It has been indeed my pleasure and honor to serve as the primary academic advisor for this special group of bachelor's program students known as Cohort 21. Where are you all? They're there. They were kind and confident enough to be our guinea pigs, so to speak, for the new school's educational experiment, which began in fall of 2015. Cohort 21 was initiated by Provost Tim Marshall in an attempt to answer one of the most crucial questions facing higher education today. How can universities offer a high-quality liberal arts education in a format and at a price point that will make it available to a larger demographic? The experiment also enabled adult students, who you heard just from Ralph, who have busy lives and often had to postpone their education to graduate faster by centering their learning around their work, their volunteer activism, artistic and creative activities. Tonight, 6 of our last students for the 11 cohort are graduating. 5 graduated last year. Unfortunately, tonight's Sergio Solazaro is not here. Correct, Sergio? You're not here. Okay. To date, this group of students designed and implemented a total of 31 learning projects using a self-directed learning approach. At the showcase last spring, all of the participating students presented their projects to an audience of over 35 faculty, staff, and students. Their presentations proved they could successfully create projects that would enable them to deeply explore their areas of interest and at the same time build transferable liberal arts skills that employers seek, such as critical thinking, oral, and written communications. They also showed that by curating their own learning from external resources, they could produce substantive learning experiences equal to or surpassing that of a university class. Of the students graduating by spring 2017, on average, so some were more, some were less, they were finishing their degrees sooner than previously planned by almost 2 semesters. We truly hope to be able to continue the Cohort 21 program using the self-directed learning approach with our unique student body, enabling students to earn the remainder of their degrees at a lower price and with greater flexibility than a traditional classroom-based program. Today, we are honoring their amazing accomplishments. Alice Bradley. The infamous Ralph Ortiz. The one and only Myron Germain Daniels. The quintessential Joan Mecca Jenkins. Amazing Joan. Our cheese lady, Jessica Sennett. And as I said, Sergio unfortunately couldn't be here this evening, but I just want to say congratulations to this amazing group of students. They deserve all of your accolades.
Thank you. And it is now my privilege to introduce our next student speaker, Margaret Collins Rogo. Maggie Rogo was raised in Los Angeles, California. While she initially enrolled in college in 2006, she struggled to find her footing at Hampshire College. She dropped out in 2009 and enrolled in several community college programs in Los Angeles. She thought she wanted to work in the fashion industry, but after working as an assistant designer for an independent brand at a large department store, she decided it wasn't for her. In 2013, she moved to Nashville, Tennessee, where she rediscovered her passion for learning and her love for life. She applied to 10 schools and, she doesn't mind me saying, got accepted into one on a provisional basis, the new school. She also doesn't mind me telling you that her previous transcripts were not so strong, But after one semester here, she turned that around, and she has consistently made our dean's list. Maggie's study of prison industrial complex and the philosophy of political rhetoric at the New School has led her to apply to law school. She hopes to work in legal advocacy for incarcerated persons and to influence policy around incarceration. Maggie's topic tonight is Pathway to Passion. Ladies and gentlemen, Maggie Rago. Maggie Rago.
Hi. At 28 years old, I am finally graduating from college. This is something... This is something 5 years ago, if you would have said, I would have told you were absolutely crazy. That I would be here back in school, graduating, applying to grad school with the hope of actually being able to make political and social change in the world. If you were to look at my resume, you would see I enrolled in college 11 years ago, and there are a lot of gaps between then and now. I struggled to find my way when I began college in 2006, only to be magnified by the fact that I was in the grips of a harrowing drug addiction. I dropped out in 2009, unhappy with both of what I was studying, which I changed every 2 weeks, and where my life was going. Addiction took the lives of many people that I loved, including that of my best friend and almost my own. I had no passion for anything except for my next fix, which I truly believed, and I really truly believed that I was going to die. For years, I hung on to my life by the skin of my teeth, knocking on death's door too many times to count. I was lucky enough to find recovery, and after several years of struggling, it gave me a new appreciation for life and all that it has to offer. I previously thought I was going to live out the rest of my days without any passion, feeling bored, useless, but that view was quickly dissipated once I found freedom from my addiction. I next aimed to find a passion. It took me years to figure out what I was interested in. I dipped my toes in different industries, from the fashion business to customer service and tech support for major cellular characters, only to find that I was not satisfied and hated it all. I didn't feel engaged in any of the work I was doing, which made it seem meaningless. All I knew is I wanted to help people and create some sort of change. In 2004, I decided to apply back to school because I couldn't get a job, and I applied to 10 schools. I got rejected from all schools except for the New School. It was a humbling experience, to say the least, because I seemed to think that I deserved to go to every school. But I understood it. I was a liability. I had terrible grades as well as gaps that I couldn't explain. And my previous college didn't even give grades, so. Yeah, it didn't take well. But I was accepted to the New School on a preliminary basis. My first semester, I could enroll as a non-degree seeking student for the upcoming semester, with the terms of my acceptance to be reevaluated at the end of the semester. I was so scared going into it, and I'm so grateful that the New School took a chance on me. I ended my first semester with a 4.0 GPA. Got accepted to the program and was able to develop my own major. I even made the dean's list and received merit scholarships. I couldn't believe it. This was something completely new to me, and it still baffles me. Looking back, I know that I finally found an academic environment where I could truly thrive. I felt alive, I felt passionate, and I was excited to learn. I had never felt that way in my entire life about anything. I found myself interested in studying things like the prison industrial complex and mass incarceration in America, and the New School helped me develop a program of study based around that. My study centered around concepts of policy, philosophy, and legal studies in relation to those issues, and I was taught the ins and outs of incarceration from someone who was not only a scholar, but had experienced it firsthand after a life in politics. I mean, how many people can say that they've had a professor who's a former state senator who spent a year and a day in prison. Not many. But he was the best teacher I've ever had. And I continue to be in touch with him even though he doesn't work here. My teachers have shown me passion for these issues, whether it be through developing programs for teaching in prisons or policy changes to reduce recidivism rates for minor charges such as failure to pay child support, which is a major bill that one of my professors passed in the city of St. Louis. I have always been interested in the criminal justice system, not only because I watched too much SVU, but also because I could identify with people who had been incarcerated. As a person who struggled with addiction, I really empathize with those who have been impacted by the prison system in this country. Not only because of a simple twist of fate would have landed me behind bars, but also because in my addiction, I have experienced what it feels like to feel trapped, without a way out. Somehow I was lucky enough to survive and find recovery, and it is only through my recovery and time at the New School that I have been able to find my passion, which is helping people who have been impacted by the laws regarding prison sentences and policies. The New School allowed me to do an independent study in my final semester in which I compared political rhetoric, policies, the war on drugs, in relation to the mass incarceration of Americans in the last 50 years. Now more than ever, this work is needed in society. With Jeff Sessions turning back the pages of Eric Holder's sentencing policies, we are facing a crucial time for this issue. The New School helped me to find my way to work that can benefit not only me, but the people surround me. Through my work, I hope to be able to help those who cannot help themselves, because I have been in that position before, and I want to help those who feel hopeless and helpless. I am in the process of applying to law school for the fall 2018 term. That is not a normal thing for New School students. I want to work to be a legal advocate for those who do not or cannot find their own voice. Until then, I'm willing to do anything I can to assist in helping people who are incarcerated or are charged with a crime. I find that I am happiest when I am being of service to others. I truly never thought I would feel fulfilled by helping others rather than myself. I will no longer sit by and blindly accept the unjust circumstances of society around me, but I'll get up and fight for myself and others who cannot. I can say without a doubt that I would not be here today without the guidance and learning opportunities I was given at the New School. Instead of being just another college dropout, feeling forever lost, I am a member of the graduating class of 2017, and am deeply grateful to be so. Thank you.
It is my pleasure to introduce Alexandra Wagner, Assistant Professor of Sociology and Faculty Reviewer for the 2016-2017 Scholarship Awards. Alexandra will recognize the recipients of our 3 donor-funded scholarships.
Thank you, Dean Friedling. Congratulations to the class of 2017. Before I say anything, I would like to express my gratitude for being for being invited to read proposals, thoughts, feelings, moments in people's lives that motivated them to apply for these scholarships. It was an incredible experience, and I'm really very grateful for it. So it is my pleasure to recognize those students whose academic achievements and professional goals earned the honor of one or more of the 3 scholarships established by generous donors to the Bachelor's program for adult and transfer students. The Bernard Osher Foundation Reentry Scholarships target high-achieving undergraduate adults ages 25 and up who have returned to finish degrees after being out of school for several years. If there are Osher scholars in the audience, please come to the stage. Jacqueline Gallo. Jessica Sennett. Everett Goldner. Stav Meishar. Thank you. Benedict Yaniti. The Jacobson Newcomb Scholarship for Mature Women Students help women 25 and older who are returning to college to complete their degrees. Would those scholars please come to the stage? There we go, dear scholar. Congratulations. Brandon Rittman. The Joan Howard Kersner Memorial Scholarship in Theater and Performing Arts assists students training for careers on the stage. If there are Kersner scholars present, please come to the stage. Not again. Again is fine. Again is excellent. Yeah? Yes? Please. So, tell me your name. Benedict Ionetti. Please come. Is that yours? Stav Meishar. Congratulations to all of the scholarship recipients and lots of success.
Now, I'll ask Michelle Mater to return to the podium to recognize our honors students.
This next group of students have managed to complete their degrees at the same time that they have juggled family commitments, multiple jobs, sometimes even in multiple geographic locations, all the while maintaining a cumulative GPA of 3.7 or better. Or better, yes. And there's even a few 4.0s in this crew, if I'm correct, yes? Woohoo! We recognize these students with certificates of achievement acknowledging this remarkable accomplishments. Come on down. Maggie. Maggie Rogal, congratulations. What a fantastic speech. John Valdez Klinger. I know the face. Inger Tillis, congratulations. Inger. Nikita Kripak, thank you. Congratulations. Paul Lowe, congratulations, Paul. Hi, Teresa Jackson, congratulations, Teresa. Hi, how are you? Heather Dunhill, congratulations, Heather. Ernesto Moreno, congratulations. Turn around and get your hands. Deanna Angelo, congratulations. Brittany Moss, congratulations, Brittany. Juliana Broad, congratulations, Juliana. Jacqueline Gallo, congratulations. I keep this? Okay, good. Brandon Rittman, congratulations. Fabulous. Sean King, congratulations, Sean. Hey. Carlos Mesa Gomez, congratulations. Raquel Arroyo. Congratulations. Sarah Davidson. Congratulations. Good to see you. Haley Poole. Fabulous, too. Come on down. Dominique Leclerc. Congratulations, Dominique. You again? My own Jermaine Daniels. Joan Mecca Jenkins. Stella Shepard, congratulations. Clara Ellis, congratulations. Melissa Ford, congratulations, Melissa. Come on down. Jessica Sennett again. Marjorie Claire Van Bever. Thank you, Claire. Nicole Marie Messena Rodriguez. Congratulations. Jack Trooper. Congratulations, Jack. Haley Ganes. Congratulations, Haley. Hazel Rigby. Hazel Rigby, that was, sorry. Sophia Flamaropoulos. How'd I do? Congratulations. Mary Elizabeth Prohl. Oh my goodness. Mary Elizabeth Prohl. Georgia Elizabeth Davies. Congratulations. That dress is fabulous. Strav Messar. Congratulations. Everett Goldner. Congrats again. You made it. And that concludes our group of Dean students.
Okay. It is now my delight to introduce Tracy Ann Williams, the Bachelor's Program Director of Academic Affairs, who will recognize and call the names of all of our graduating students.
Come on down. You've been waiting for it a long time. Rafael Ortiz. Haley Alexandra Poole. Margaret Rogo. John Valdez Klinger. Diana Angelo. Nicole Sherry. Samuel Meismer. Edgar Fox. Juliana Broad. Costin Rodriguez Wallerman. Dash Fellner. Jacqueline Gallo. Victoria Riker. To get your time. Geneva Eng. Ernesto Moreno. Brandon Rittman. Sean King. Benedict Iannetti. Bukola Shinoga Smith. Everett Goldner. Stav Masher. Jessica Sennett. Alice Bradley. Here, wait. Jermaine Daniels. Joan Mecca. Natalie Dupre. Oriano Nino Parra. Noah Lucas. Anastasia Puste. Nicole Ayanello. Yu Ching Tsai. Marina Colonna. Christopher Berta. Steven Santana. Jelena Solana. Natasha Price. Sophia Wettenson. Carlos Mesa Gomez. Claire Van Beaver. Nicole Marie Messina Rodriguez. Jack Trooper. Haley Gannis. Hazel Rigby. Sophia Flomeropoulos. Mary Elizabeth Prawl. Georgia Elizabeth Davies. Inger Tillis. Hi. Nikita Kripach. Paul Frederick Logue. Sure, you can do whatever you want, baby. Whatever you need. Of course, thank you. Of course. All right, I've got it. Teresa Sunshine Jackson. Heather Dunhill. Brittany Moss. Raquel Arroyo. Sarah Davidson. Dominique Leclerc. Stella Shepard. Clara Ellis. Melissa Ford. I'm good, thanks. Congratulations. Good for you. And Richard Meminger. Congratulations to all the 2017 graduates.
It is now my honor to introduce our final student speaker for the evening, John J. Valdez Klinger. John Valdez has worked in education for over 15 years. Having had limited opportunities for an education himself, John made a commitment to give others the access he never had. John is currently employed at Teach for America as staff engagement and communications manager. He's worked at Teach for America for 7 years, and prior to Teach for America, he was a teaching artist at Urban World New York City, providing poetry and art instruction within underserved schools, including Washington Irving and Bushwick High Schools. He is here at the New School to pursue his creative dreams. John is a media studies major with a concentration in film production and minoring in photography through Parsons. He also pursues fiction writing through the Riggio Honors Program for Writing and Democracy at BPATS. John is an author, a graphic and web designer, a photographer, a videographer, a director, an editor, and above all, John is a storyteller. John Valdez.
Gracias, Facundo. Eso se lo dedico a mi mamá y también se lo dedico a mi familia. There are stories everywhere. Stories in every day. Stories in the mere act of crossing the street. Stories are arch in movements, engaged between two people in all human commonalities. A boy plays with a balloon that expands to the size of a hot air balloon. An airplane crashes with the hot air balloon right before landing. A mother claims that it's terrorism. A woman gives birth to a child in the middle of an evacuation, while a love affair starts in the immigration line at the airport. At the same airport, 3 Middle Eastern students are sent back to their countries for contraband. Their cameras confused for guns, deported to an unknown country. I believe in the power of stories. It was easy for me to see the victim in the stories before I joined the new school. My stories existed only in my head, deadened by a sense of stale uniqueness. It was at the new school that I found our commonalities. At the new school, my inner pain became a screenplay, my suffering became a paper, my expressions a collective voice. Growing up in Colombia was a fight. My friends and I played soldiers every afternoon. We crafted stories that mirror what was on TV. Corruption ran through our little bodies down the street. We reenacted our concerns for family members kidnapped, teddy bears brainwashed by the guerrilla, our country's civil war. The guerrilla came once a month to terrorize us and to remind us that our freedom was at their disposal. There was nothing else to do but to survive through retelling our stories. As we grow up, the way we escape changed. Many escape through drinking their problems, others in replaying the story of violence that ran through their community. How to survive a guerrilla attack in 10 easy steps. Number 1, protect your children. Number 2, make sure that the older kids know how to protect the younger ones. Number 3, the guerrilla have needs, so protect your food and your women. If the guerrilla takes one of your loved ones, they are gone. 5, don't call the police. 6, barricade your windows and triple lock your doors. 7, don't go outside. 8, know where to hide. 9, have the neighborhood drunk give a cryptic warning when the guerrillas are approaching. 10, have eyes behind your head and always stay vigilant. I was lucky enough to be able to flee to the United States at a young age. In America, we were alienated. I have an alien card to prove it. My mother pushed herself from job to job to give us anything that we wanted. We could have had it all. And that was the plan. But our all was limited. To my mom, her all was having enough for us to eat. Nothing could break a mother more than not being able to feed her. Nothing can break a mother more than not being able to feed her kids or give them a place to sleep. For me, my all was not letting the students at my high school find out that I was homeless. For my brother, his all was holding a strong face through it all. I gave it my all, but my all was limited to working halfway to support myself, occasionally to help my mother, and run away from all responsibilities. At the age of 27, I broke into a panic until I couldn't face myself. I had to change something, but no matter what I changed, I couldn't face myself. So I'm focused on what was missing, myself. I decided to learn. I started by learning something small. I learned to swim. But in the process, I learned how to breathe. Swimming in 10 easy steps. I forgot to tell you I like making lists. Number 1, count breaths. Number 2, practice your strokes in the air. 3, get in the water. 5, oh wait, that's my other list. 4, put my head on the water. 5, yes, the whole head. 6, make bubbles. 7, you could still breathe through your nose if you turn your face to the side. Number 8, remind myself that no matter what, I'm not going to die in a 4-inch pool. Number 9, if swimming is an illusion, why am I so scared? Number 10, give yourself permission to have fun. By the end of the year, I was in a gay swimming team in Uptown Manhattan, swimming 5K laps Fridays and crying from the pain on Saturdays. Because I had conquered my fear of swimming, I was ready to take the next step. I have been lying about going to the new school since I was 23 years old. It was the school where all my interesting friends went, Laura. It was the school that Annie Hall went to right before she realized that Alvin Singer maybe wasn't the greatest guy for her. In addition to wanting to be Annie Hall, I wanted to have the opportunities that my friends had. My smart friends, well-spoken, over-educated friends at my job. I worked at a job that I shouldn't have, with people that I wasn't educated enough to be around. I smiled through words I didn't understand. I smiled through spelling mistakes. I smiled through vacation pictures of workmates on their summer trips and wonder why I have never been anywhere. Why was it that others had the benefits of taking a risk? Why did I seem to always leave myself behind when I have so much quote-unquote potential? I was afraid of the man that I was, which resulted in me always being less than the man that I wanted to be. Being a black man meant that I had to give myself the opportunities that were not offered to me. Being a black man meant that I had to be my own daddy. Being a black man meant that I had to do what I gotta do to get what needed to get done. Being a black man meant that I could find myself in the endless cycle of what never happened or what never was or what I never knew. Being black meant that sometimes I had to lie for opportunities, lie to supplement help from family, lie to supplement good advice, good education, dream actualizations, and lie to fill achievements. In 2003, In 2013, I decided to enroll in college, but I couldn't. Apparently, in order to enroll into college, you need to have a high school degree. Who knew? I didn't have one. I had no education, at least not on paper, and they don't hang out degrees for making it through. I wasn't able to move forward until I confessed my truth to someone. So I created a strategy. I told 2 people. My friend Katie, she was smart and she could help me. And my friend Chris, who worked to cover hours while I study. I tried to get a GED before, but I failed to show up to the second test. So I needed an anchor. Anchor. The new school was my anchor. My GED test was at 2 p.m. on Tuesday and Wednesday. Before taking my GED test, I came to the new school admissions office. I learned about the school, the student body, the gender-neutral bathrooms, and more importantly, the fact that the new school wanted me. I was their perfect candidate, they said. The new school lived up to its hype. We didn't have tests. We didn't have tests, and everything was critical. Thoughts were critical, processes were critical. Parts and students' purple, orange hair was critical. Everything ended with a question. We don't just provide answers, we question everything. The good thing about the new school was that it cared more about my critical thinking than my spelling. The bachelor's program was open, so when thinking of my course load, I consulted directly with my dreams. What does my dream want? What does my dream need? My dreams need a website. So I took web design class. My dreams need to express themselves and their dreaminess. So I joined the Regio Honors Writing and Democracy program. At Regio, I wrote my first book. It's half done. I sat down with my advisor, Michelle, to discuss my path, which changed every week. I'm sorry. The following year, I enrolled in the Media Studies program with a film production major. I just finished my first documentary. A huge thank you. A huge thank you to Michelle Mater for explaining the methods of oppression. She helped me understand my blackness. A huge thank you to Tracy Ann Williams for giving me the opportunities that I was talking about. You did everything that you could to get me where I needed to be. And I appreciate you for it. No, I really do. Emma Brodsky, Laura Cronk, Melissa Freeling, Luis Jaramillo, thank you for taking me as an artist, taking me seriously as an artist when I was full of doubts. As my friend Adam said, everything can be taken away from you except for what you have learned. Class of 2017, we share this moment. A moment is a few words in your story, so go out and write it. Travel if you want to, explore what you need to, and find a conflict. Every good story starts with a vivid conflict. Mistakes are great conflicts. Make those mistakes with dignity, beauty, and grace. Do it for your characters. You are your character. You have character. We have been gifted here at the New School with the craft, a craft for whatever you're studying in, a craft for life. But much like when I decided to swim and I learned to breathe in the process, we came here for our degrees, but we learned about empathy. Empathy for ourselves, empathy for our stories. That is what the New School taught us. When we marched in November after the elections, when we marched last July for Black Lives, when the new school made sure that we had gender-neutral bathrooms, when we sat down in a room together to cry after the election. We questioned, we organized, we learned our rights, and not just for ourselves, but because there are many children out there that, like me, are growing up without the opportunities, stuck in endless inequality, growing up thinking that things are the way that they're supposed to be. For them, you are telling your story. Class of 2017, this is your story. The seconds are the punctuation. The minutes are your words. The hours, your paragraphs. The months, your chapters. Let's write the greatest story we can together.
All right. Thank you to all our student speakers, and thank you to everyone. How about one more round of applause for our 2017 Bachelor's Program? All right. So I'm going to ask our guests to remain seated until all the students are out of the theater. We'll start exiting in a moment. When you exit, please do not block the theater doors. Go directly to the lobby elevators and take them to the 4th floor for the reception that will be directly following this ceremony in Woolman Hall. When you get out of the elevators, ushers will direct you from there. Graduates, please rise and follow the band.